What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I was gonna bring you guys along today with me. I gotta plant some peas. Maybe try to get to a tree that was blown down. I need to cut up. Garden tour, garden update. All right, so you guys, I wanted to show you this. So right here, I've started to work on this little trail going into the garden. Let's see if I can. So on the right and left side, this is all yarrow that we started from seed last year and planted out in the garden. But the area we planted it in, we didn't really want it to come back, so I moved it all at the beginning of as soon as it warmed up enough to move stuff this season in the spring. We moved them all out here, and they are just loving life. I mean, so many stems. There's turkey, but this is kind of a work in progress. There's actually a Mexican sunflower planted on the right side here that'll come in, and one on the left. So as the season goes on, I'll have to keep updating you on the garden trail. I think it's a pretty nice little trail. I got to limb up a little bit of the low limbs and continue the mulch all the way down. But I don't know, it's pretty cool. All right, let's go over here. Check out these watermelons we planted. I was out here cutting some grass yesterday. Need to come back and cut the middle. But here's where we're at. So they're getting locked in, as I'd like to say. So those are doing pretty good. Then here's the tomato sucker row. Really kind of running some experimental trellising for the tomatoes. These cages are great, and I made those out of concrete remesh, I believe it is called. You can take and snip them off. I think it's every 18 squares, and you end up with a round, and I just bend them back like that. Maybe I need to do a video on that in the future. But these are really, really sturdy. Turkey loves the garden. The sunflowers right on the other side of the fence there. Look at them looking right at the sun. I actually feel like I should take a picture of that. It's some good social media content. So this pumpkin right here is a volunteer. There's a little one. Is a volunteer out of this compost pile. So I'm not even sure what kind of pumpkin it is. I think it's probably going to be one of those white ones. So it's like probably about little smaller than my hand. But it's setting a ton of fruit and it's going crazy. Little mushrooms, little fungi action going on. Here's the sunflowers from the other side. I think these are called Desert Sun. I get them confused with the Harvest Moon tomatoes from Johnny's. The names are so similar. Let's see. Hannah's got some Snapdragons here. And Dianthus. These are Kentucky Wonder pole beans. Y'all let me know if this one right here, I feel like is probably ready, but I feel like it should be a little fatter. So our first time growing those, so I haven't picked any yet, but some carrots in this bed. There's some melons planted back here in this bed. This is where the garlic was, so it was really wet and all my garlic died. So I figured I could put some melons, which are heavy drinkers, over there. Since it stays wet, I figured the melons will do well. Let's see here. These are artichokes, and I grew these from seed. This is a volunteer zinnia from last year. It just came up on its own. But I grew these artichokes from seed because I love artichokes, and I just was like, man, that'd be really cool to grow an artichoke. I don't even know if it'll grow well here in Georgia, but we'll see. Okay, tomatoes. So I've got a little bit of diseasey, blighty kind of stuff going on, so I've been trying to work on cutting that out. But we've already been picking tomatoes. So these are pretty big. Those are the, they're called Moscovich. I got the seed from Johnny's. It's like a early season tomato, cool, a little cooler tolerant. So I wanted to try that because I planted these really early. Tomato update. Let's see. These are the suckers. Also more suckers that I just pruned off of the big plants and poked straight in the ground. That whole row of tomatoes. Right here today is where I've got to plant the peas. Hopefully, we've had a ton of rain. That's probably doable. Here's the okra, or okra, as you may call it. It's coming in nice. Let's see here, and then this is pretty cool. So this is Napa cabbage or Chinese cabbage, and they just they volunteered too. I had the bed right there, right behind me, actually in that crazy row of grass, and I let them go to seed, as I like to do. And yeah, they volunteered. Right here, it might be kind of hard to see, I'm not sure. I've got corn in this whole brown area on the camera. You might be able to see the sprouts coming up. They're coming up. Here's fennel that we're probably going to get out of here pretty soon. These are leeks. These are the kind of the small ones. We picked some for the market last weekend. Excuse all the weeds. Here are some overwintered onions that I'm waiting on to start bulbing, which they are starting to. We're working on actually getting some ground covered right now. Let's see. Hannah's got some Bachelor buttons here. Cucumbers along these two trellises. She actually had some poppies that are actually still flowering somehow. There's cosmos. There's actually a row of carrots in this craziness over here. Dahlias. Yeah, so the carrots are there. Bright greens. I'm gonna have to get in there. This is actually just gonna be flowers once we pull those carrots up. I'm just like, I'm not gonna deal with all the grass right now until we can tarp that. So we're just gonna try to get the carrots out and let it be a flower bed. Got some more squash coming up planted here. These are more watermelons. This area right here we just tarped over 2 or 3 days ago, so it's got a couple weeks and then it can be uncovered and planted. There's beets. The weeds have been out of control this year, y'all. With all this rain we're getting. We harvested some starboard kale for the market. There's yellow squash here. Some zucchini. Another one down there. So up here we have just planted 3 rows of Crowder peas. It's like a field pea. And then 3 rows of speckled butter beans. It's like speckled lima. In here. So there's actually 6 rows of peas and beans right here on this side of the cover crop plot. So yeah, really that is pretty much the garden update. We're feeling a little behind, but also have tons of stuff going on, like in the ground, you know, so. Oh wait, I could show you these grapes. And this one needs some help. I've tried to train it up here. I just need to get some clips or something, zip ties or wire to get it to, it won't go up my T-post. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get those peas planted. Maybe move some mulch into the garden today, maybe. Probably not with the tractor, it's real wet. guys, so now I'm pretty pleased with that. The bed is pretty wet, as you probably could tell. But I think it'll be okay. I looked at the forecast. We're not expected for any rain for a few days. If it was gonna rain, I probably wouldn't plan into something this wet. But it being dry peas, this is probably perfect, honestly. So now I've got a rope and stake so I can lay rows. I'm gonna plant 3 rows on the right side, and then probably 1, maybe 2 on this side. Pack them pretty tight and probably plant them about 8 inches apart in row spacing. All right, that's laid out. Here's the seed. So this is called a Smith pea, and we're doing this kind of in conjunction with our farmers market. It's like an heirloom Native American pea that's been grown for a long time. So we're gonna give it a try out here, y'all. So now I'm just gonna go down this string with a handful of these, start planting them about every 8 inches until I'm done with the row or done with the bag. So I'll poke my finger. Okay, so that's 1 row planted. You'll see here. Okay. I'm about to go through and plant the rest of this plot. Alright guys, so I am about to spread some all-purpose granular fertilizer over on the soil. I've got 5 rows of the Smith peas planted. So I'm getting ready to sprinkle some of this across the beds. It's a very low all around. It's probably like a 5-4-3 or something like that. The beans don't need, the peas don't need a lot of nitrogen or anything like that. I'm really putting this on as a little bit of a fertility boost right now with them right on the ground. Mix it in with the soil, and then I probably won't add or feed this bed really again. I mean, well, aside from the sprinklers, right? So they have fertilizer in it when they're on. So yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode. We see you next time.